Hey everyone, I'm Shawn, and I'm an impatient tight-ass who's bad at damn near everything. Today I'm in a radical mood. I want to play a rad game, but I'm all about efficiency and I don't want to waste any time. I have to fit the maximum possible amount of rad into a single sit-down. Well, what's more rad than the Nintendo Entertainment System? Just like that one douchebag kid says in The Wizard.
I loved
Nintendo Entertainment System.
It's so
rad. So to scratch my radical itch, that sounds kinda messed up, I'm going to find the raddest, the most rad, the most radicalist game on the NES. But where do I start? You'd think it would be something from Radical Entertainment, but those people made Mario is Missing, Mario's Time Machine, Wayne's World, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and The Terminator for the NES. I seriously could not name a shittier group of 5 games. How about Rad ES? Yes, I know it's a dumb joke, but I wanted to use its footage and rad tunes in the background of this intro to avoid having to play any of that Radical Entertainment crap. But thankfully, there actually are several NES games that tell you just how radical they are right in their title. I think I'll try those. Except for Rad Racket Deluxe Tennis 2. I'm not playing that. So maybe it's Rad Racer or Rad Racer 2, a pair of old-school, forward-scrolling racers. A lot of games in this genre are way too hard for my rock-like reflexes. At least the original is memorable for the 3D mode, or, as I called it when I was a kid, drunk driving mode. They're okay and they're pretty common, but they're a little light on the radical spiciness. It could be The Adventures of Rad Gravity, a pretty unique platformer where you play this chibi caricature of Henry Cavill. If you have the skill and the patience to get over the initial weirdness, learning curve, and minor functional flaws, you'll be rewarded with interesting gameplay variety across multiple planets. I have none of that skill or patience, so I just have traumatic memories of this awful title screen. Anyway, it's unique, decent, exclusive to the NES, and not horribly pricey, but it's like the off-brand of rad. Its idea of rad is just a little off and a little weird. I wonder if it's Kid Niki Radical Ninja, because a lot of people seem to really like this game. IGN even lists it as the number 49 best NES game of all time. I think it's a mildly charming save-your-girlfriend NES platformer. Kid Niki is not very radical, unlike the dumb title suggests, and this might be the shittiest NES box art ever. The game is decent and not too pricey, but it's like the infomercial version of Rad. Cheap but loud flashy packaging around a product that kind of works. So sure, fast cars are rad, Mr. Gravity seems like a rad guy, and Kid Niki is a ninja with a spinning sword, which is inherently rad, but none of them is the most rad. They're just not completely rad, or thoroughly rad, or totally rad.
totally.
That's right, the most radicalist NES game is obviously totally rad. A platformer from ICOM and Jaleco in 1990 whose title tells you right away that it's literally the most radical it could possibly be. Because that's what the word totally means, and an NES game would never lie to me. Okay, it's a very stupid and unhelpful title, and since one definition of the word radical, according to the internet, is far-reaching or thorough, it's also a little redundant. And did I mention stupid? It's just a perfect example of this game's greatest offense, trying way too hard to be cool, like Street Sharks toys or the movie Surf Ninjas. The story, dialogue, title, characters, and literally every single thing related to the narrative of this game is all dumb as shit. It's painful, and it makes me want to beat this cartridge into pieces in a late 80s action movie montage set to Kenny Loggins music. But if I did that, I'd miss out on all the good here, and I swear that coincidentally this game actually is pretty rad, despite its best efforts to look like a cheap spoof comedy movie. First, I love this game's graphics, animation, and art style. Like, long-term relationship love. Yes, the themes and settings and bad guys are kind of stupid. I can't even tell, is this all like some shitty future circus? The characters don't really seem surprised, is this just how the world is? But I think the art style and animation is all genuinely good. Even in the cringy cutscenes I can't stand, the character art is kind of neat. Also, the main character reminds me a little of Keanu Reeves for some reason. And this little shit is obviously the Leprechaun, but in the Witness Protection Program. The music here is decent too. It's not great. There's a little too much of this one single synthy percussion note in there that I really don't like. But overall, it fits the gameplay vibes well enough. Next, I really like the gameplay. As a friend. Not long-term commitment like, but maybe a few dates followed by an amicable, let's stay friends split up like. It's a platformer with some run and gun flair, very much like Mega Man, even to the extent that you can charge your shot and pick from a few different spells that kind of act like the different abilities in Mega Man. Except they all share a single magic meter and you have them all from the get-go. It controls pretty well, but it does lack some polish, especially where magic is involved. I enjoy the character's stoked little cheerleader magic use animation, but it does take too long and some magics come jam-packed with seizure-inducing flashing. There's also a lot of precious magic meter wasting trial and error as you get acquainted with your spells. The level design seems decent. Sometimes it feels uninspired, but then others it very neatly encourages you to experiment with your different abilities. Overall, it plays a little closer to good than great, but since we're talking about a 30-year-old game from a B-tier developer, I'd say that's pretty high praise. Difficulty-wise, even though I might make it look harder than it is, what with my dead tree stump caliber motor skills and all, I bet it's probably not too hard for a normal human with retro gaming experience. For me, the learning curve isn't too steep, and it was gratifying enough that even though I suck, I do want to keep trying to get better, and I legitimately feel like I could accomplish that, even playing in short bursts. Overall, I just wish everything narrative about this game wasn't such a shitty narrow time capsule packed full of intentionally exaggerated wannabe 90s cool crap, because it would be way better without all of it. You could have a plain yellow label with that monster and no title, and empty 10-second chunks of plain black screens where all the cutscenes are, and it would still be an improvement. I know I said I was looking for rad, but I'm just using gimmicks and selling out for views. Leave me alone, damn it! That's why, even though I had a lot of fun, the best recommendation I can put on this game is that NES fans should at least look into it if you haven't already. It's not so iconic or special that it's integral to the NES experience, but it is somewhat unique, exclusive to the NES, and not horribly pricey. Even if you're a lame old curmudgeon, you can probably still get decent at and enjoy this game, even just pulling it down off the shelf for a few minutes every once in a while because you're tired of the cheap NES Mega Man games you do own, so you look online to buy another NES Mega Man game, but then you realize you don't want to take out a second mortgage on your house just for a little more pixel run and jump and shoot. At least not if you can grab this game as a substitute. So if you like that kind of game and you don't mind ignoring stupid titles, dialogue, cutscenes, etc., I think you'll have fun with this one. No, it's probably not actually the most rad game on the NES, but it might be the best game with the word rad or radical in the title. And hey, we're talking about 1990 here. That's a pretty big honor. Anyway, thanks for watching my stupid video. If you watch YouTube at all, you know the drill, but I really hope you had a radical enough time watching this that you'll give it a thumbs up, or maybe even consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that little bell for alerts, or visiting gamersoutpostllc.com. You silly monkeys behave yourselves out there, and I'll see you next time.